So, with the book, how do you want to do this? Am I screen sharing this to you, or do you have it open on your end as well?
I have it pulled up. We're on chapter 5, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay.
You want me to catch you up a little bit on what's happening in the book so far? Okay.
Thing.
So, the book opens on a ship, where, let me think, what is his name? I think his name is Stein, or Fritz Stein is the guy we're following right now. He is a former medical officer of the German army. And I think he was discharged from his duties for treating an adversary for medical treatment. And now he's trying to establish a medical practice in Spain. And so we're on this ship, and he's gotten a referral to travel somewhere. He's got a letter of referral to travel somewhere to establish his practice. And on his way, he picks up a dog and travels with him. And they've been traveling on foot for days. And they run into a bull. He gets attacked by a bull. And he barely escapes with his life into an abandoned monastery where a family lives. And they're not sure of who he is, whether he's like a Jewish guy or a foreign guy or what he's got. He knows a language. And so there's this whole debacle of who he is, and if they should be treating him, if he's good to be let in the community. They're very, tightly knit, sort of interconnected community in that way, and very wary of outsiders. So there was that debacle. Eventually they treat him, and he gets he gets familiarized with the town around there, and befriends this child whose name is Momo. And so he's befriended Momo. He's befriended, I don't know if I would say befriended, but he's acquainted with Momo.
Yeah.
And he's been acquainted with Brother Gabriel, who runs this monastery, or is trying to restore this monastery. And the grandma is there, Maria. She's the one who found him, said that we need to take care of him, but then they go off on a whole argument of whether or not they should take care of him. So suffice to say, we're not very far in the story, but the last thing we did is he gets introduced into what the village life is like here. I can't remember the name of the village. I guess Villamar. I'm looking at chapter 4 here. Villamar is the village. And he's informed of this woman who is called Gaviota, who's a singer, and she's the daughter of a fisherman.
Namesake of the book.
Yes. And he's intrigued by her presence. He doesn't know her yet, but he's been told of her. So her name is Marisalada, but they call her Gaviota. So that's pretty much where we're at. There's a lot of different little nuances in there that kind of just establish the tone and place. It's a lot on environment and what society is like there. A lot of what the book is kind of a document of that. And he's trying to get an acquaintance with the people to help him out establish his practice, basically.
Sure.
So he's run into this commandant who's told him about Gaviota, and Momo tells him about Gaviota, and so that's kind of where we're picked up.
From what you've described so far, like aspects of it do sound similar to Frankenstein, starting off on a ship.
Yeah.
Giving
Well, this is the romantic era, so I mean,
Yeah.
it's like these larger than life things happen, but there's like a degree of realism to it, a degree of like exploration,
Right.
But it's all about, basically exploration of the world and establishing sowing new seeds in other places, or stuff that would kind of just be unthinkable for the contemporary person of that day, right? And that's why they come up with these
Right.
stories. So
As they're traveling themselves.
I don't know if there's anything else I should mention that we've come across so
There's one
far.
thing
I mean, everything kind of just gets lost in the nuances here.
I was informed that Countenance is back.
Yes, Countenance is back. I think we said Countenance at least 5 times.
Okay, so let me change the count here. Okay, so the count right now says 9 for some reason.
Oh, okay.
Okay, but I'm gonna do it as I'm gonna set to 5.
Okay.
Oh wait, no, hold on. 9 is probably. So I wonder if you guys did use it.
How could we have used it if it wasn't in your chat?
I have no idea. Okay, 5.
I'm pretty sure we were at 5 Countenance. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. 5 Countenance on there as well. All right.
I'm going through the pages here, seeing if there's anything you should be informed about. But yeah, I mean, the guy comes in, and he's walking on his route, and then all of a sudden he gets attacked by an ox with his dog. He loses a dog. Just crazy stuff like that. It's like, and then the whole story goes from there. Like I told you.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I recommend, recapping the first 4 chapters for yourself, but that's basically kind of where we're at.
Sure. Okay.
And we're
Sounds
kind of
good.
learning the history of the people who live in and around VMR and stuff like that.
Via mod.
Yes.
Gotcha. All right. Do you want me to go first, and then I'll pass things off to you?
Sure.
Okay. Cool. Full Metal Alchemist. Chapter 5. Before we continue our recital, it is well, we believe, to make the acquaintance of this new personage, Don Modesto
Guerrero.
Guerrero was the son of an honorable farmer who, like many others, was possessed of excellent parchments of nobility. During the War of Independence, the French burned these parchments in burning his house, under the pretext that the children of a laborer are brigands. That is to say, that they have committed the unpardonable crime of defending their country. How dare the brave man had to reconstruct his house, but as to the parchments, they were not of the class of Phoenix. Vanessa was called to the military service, and in default of a substitute, he entered a regiment of infantry as a cadet. Sufficiently good-natured, he was not long in becoming a butt, the object of coarse jokes from his companions. These, encouraged by his forbearance, pushed their mockeries so far that Don Modesto put an end to them, as we will directly see. On a grand parade day, he took his station at the end of the file. Nearby was a cart. His comrades, with as much address as promptitude, put a noose around his leg and attached it to the wheels of the cart. The colonel gave the orders to march. the trumpet sounded, and all the men were in motion, with the exception of Modesto, who was brought up with his feet in the air, in the position which the sculptors give to the zephyrs, ready to fly. The review ended. Modesto returned to the quarters calm and tranquil as he had set out, and, without changing his step, he demanded satisfaction of his companions. Neither of them would assume the responsibility of the trick played. He then declared he would fight with them all, one after the other. Then he who had planned and executed the trick came forward, and they went out to fight. In the combat, Modesto's adversary lost an eye. "If you desire to lose the other," the vanquisher said to him, with his habitual phlegm, "I am at your service when you please." Without relations or patrons at court, without ambitious views, and no fondness for intrigue, Modesto continued his career at a tortoise pace until the siege of Gaviota in 1805, a period at which his regiment received an order to join the troops of Napoleon. Modesto distinguished himself so well by his bravery and coolness that he merited a cross in the praises of his chiefs. His name was blazoned at Gaviota like a meteor to disappear immediately in eternal obscurity. These laurels were the first and the last which he had an opportunity of gathering during his military career. Severely wounded in the arm, he was obliged to quit active service and received as compensation the post commandant of the ruined fort of San Cristobal?
Yeah.
Okay, San Cristobal. It was then 40 years that he had under his orders the skeleton of a fort, and a garrison of lizards of all varieties. In the commencement are Guerrero.
Guerrero.
And then
Like Eddie Guerrero, the wrestler.
Guerrero could not content himself with this abandonment. No 1 year passed without his pressing request to the government to obtain the necessary repairs, also the guns and troops which this point defense demanded. All these requests remained unnoticed, although, according to circumstances, he did not fail to represent the possibility of an invasion, whether by the English or the American insurgents, whether by the French or the revolutionists or the Carlists. A similar reception was accorded to his continual solicitations to obtain part. The government took no account whatever of these two ruins, the fort and its commander. Don Modesto was patient. He finished by submitting to his destiny. When he arrived at Villamar, he lodged with the widow of this sacristan?
Yeah, of the sacristan.
Who, in company with her then young daughter, lived a life of devotion. It was the abode of excellent women, a little meager, and tainted with excessive intolerance, and scolds, but good charitable, and of exquisite neatness. Full Metal Alchemist.
I don't know what a sacristan is, but I know it must be pronounced the way we said it.
I would hope so.
Let me look that up. Yeah.
Sacristan. I did not put any of the right letters in
Oh, it's
that.
like a holy... Interesting. So what is a sacristy? I don't know church things.
Something here. Sacristy. Okay. A church officer or volunteer who takes care of the sacristy. Oh, so I think that's where they. So when they say where they store the stuff, so in like a Catholic mass, or I guess in like a church service that happens like I guess once a month, where they do like the suppose like the body and blood of Christ, whether it's
the
symbolic
sacrament.
or or the sacrament. It's like the chalice and like the bowls that go with it.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I've seen parts of it, I guess, like from like the Catholic standpoint, because like that's how I was raised. I've like been in the little chapel area and whatnot. I don't know what it looks like as far as like in other denominations.
Yeah. This book, as you can imagine, is very much in the Catholic realm of things, being in Spain in 1838.
So,
excuse me.
In that case, imagine a lot of like incense burning, I guess, in this case, or at least the smell of that would be their candles, potential adornments, depending on like I guess the status of the village.
Yeah.
But like as nice as it could be, most likely.
Yeah. Got it.
Yeah.
So he married the widow of the person who takes care of all that stuff.
Interesting.
Got it. So our protagonist Fritz is about to meet this guy, Fritz Stein. Okay. At least our protagonist for now. I believe the viewpoint switches a few times.
Oh yeah,
I mean it's a book that's written in third person, so. Okay. Fullmetal Alchemist. The inhabitants of the village, who had great affection for the Commandant, and who, at the same time, knew how irksome his position was, did all they possibly could to render his situation less irksome. They never killed a pig without sending him a supply of lard and pudding. At harvest times, they brought him some wheat, peas, oil, and honey. The women made him presents of the fruits of their orchards, and his happy hostess had always run an abundance of provisions, thanks to the generous kindness which inspired the good Modesto, who, of a nature corresponding with his name, far from feeling pride from so many favors, was accustomed to say that Providence was everywhere, but that his headquarters were at Villamar. He knew, in truth, how to show his gratitude for all these bounties by being serviceable to everyone, and complacent in the extreme. He arose with the sun, and his first duty was to assist the cura in the services of the mass. You're gonna have to explain that to me. What's a cura?
I'm gonna look that up too. Like I have not heard this one. Sacristan makes sense.
Yeah.
Cura, I have no idea.
We'll talk about it after this. One villager charged him with a commission. Another besought him to write to his son, who was a soldier. A mother confided to his care with her little children. A mother confided to his care her little children, while she attended outdoors to some little household affairs. He watched at the bedsides of the sick, and mingled his prayers with those of his hostesses. Indeed, he sought to be useful to everybody in all that was in his power, consistent with decorum or honor. The widow of the sacristan died, leaving her daughter Rosa, now full 45 years of age, and of an ugliness which you would travel far to see the like of. My God, she's so ugly. People make a pilgrimage to see her. I believe it. With the way the characters have interacted with each other, I believe it. They hold very much some very interesting prejudices, as you'll soon discover. Yeah. The mournful consequences of the varioloid, another one that's gonna have to be explained to me, did not contribute a little to augment this last misfortune. The evil was concentrated on one of her eyes, and chiefly on the pupil, which she could but half open, and it resulted that the pupil half effaced gave to all her physiognomy an aspect devoid of intelligence and mind, forming a singular contrast with the other eye, from which shot out flames like the fire of a briar bush at the slightest cause of scandal, and certainly the occasions which presented themselves were frequent enough. So much little gossipy things going on in this VMR. Yeah, you can imagine. So much scandal. Lots of intrigue.
Small town.
After the funeral, the 9 days of mourning passed. The Señorita Rosita, ooh, that's fun to say, said one morning to Don Modesto, "I regret much, Señor, the duty of announcing to you that we must separate." "We part!" cried the brave man, opening his large eyes and placing his cup of chocolate on the tablecloth, instead of placing it on the tray. "And why, Rosita?" Don Modesto was accustomed to, during 30 years, to employ this pet name when he spoke to the daughter of his old hostess. "It seems to me," she replied, elevating her eyelids, "it seems to me you need not ask me why. You know it is not proper that two honest persons live together under the same roof. It gives rise to scandal. She's your stepdaughter, dude, basically. Like, this is not a problem. I guess in this time it would have been a problem. I mean, that's my interpretation, right?
Yeah. That's... She wants to be an honest woman and wants to be seen as an honest woman as well.
I guess since they're not blood related, it that in and of itself is a problem. Maybe.
I guess so, because people did some strange stuff with marriages, so she didn't want people getting the wrong idea about things.
Yeah. And who could bring scandal against you? Replied Don Modesto. You, the village model. Are you sure there will not be something? What will you say when you learn that you yourself, despite your great age, your uniform, and your cross, and I, a poor girl who thinks only of serving God, that we afford amusement to these scandal mongers? What say you? Demanded Don Modesto, saddened. What you have just heard, and no one knows us but under nicknames which they apply to us, these cursed. I am stunned, Rosita. I cannot believe. So much better for you if you do not believe it, said the devout girl. But I avow to you that these impious ones, God pardon them, when they see us arrive together at church, at the early morning mass, they say one to another, Sound the mass! Here come the mystic Rose and the Tower of David in armor and in company, as in the litanies. They have thus dubbed you, because your figure is so erect, so tall, and so solid. Don Modesto remained, his mouth open and his eyes fixed on the ground. Yes, senor, continued the mystic Rose. The neighbor who told me this was scandalized and advised me to go and complain to the cura. I replied to her, were it better that I restrained myself and suffered. I replied to her, it were better that I restrained myself and suffered. Our Lord suffered more than I, without complaining. Well, said Modesto, I will not permit that they mock me, and still less you. He thinks pretty highly of her, I guess, despite all the tribulations they've gone through. I guess because they're affected by the same group of gossipers, right?
And like he probably has seen her as
a daughter.
He sees her as his own daughter. But at least like someone that's innocent and isn't deserving of this.
Yeah. The best will be, continued Rosa, to prove by our patience that we are good Christians, and by our indifference that we care little for the world's opinion. Beyond this, if these wicked persons are punished, they will be worse. Believe me, Don Modesto. You are, as always, right, Rosita. I know these babblers. If you cut out their tongue, they will speak with their nose. But if in bygone days any of my comrades had dared to call me Tower of David, he would have had to add pray for us. How is it that you, a saint, have any fear of these slanders? You know, Don Modesto, what say the vulgar who think evil of all the world? Between saint and saint, there should be a strong wall. But between you and I, there is no need of a wall. I am old, and never in my life was I ever except once in love. And then it was with a very pretty young girl whom I would have married if I had not surprised her in a counter-flirtation with a drum major who... Don Modesto! Cried Rosita, choked with this discord. Honor your name and your position and abandon your souvenirs of love. My intention was not to offend you, replied Don Modesto in a contrite tone. Know that well, and I swear to you that I have never had, and never will have, an evil thought. Don Modesto, replied Rosa. With impatience, she looked on him with her eye of fire, while the other eye made vain efforts in the hope of being inflamed in unison. Do you judge me so simple as to think that two persons like you and I, having both the fear of God, could conduct ourselves like those harebrained people who neither have shame nor honor of sin? But in the world it is not sufficient to do well. We must not even give cause for scandal and guard on all sides, even against appearances. I'm gonna keep going until the next lines of quotes. That is another thing, replied the Commandant. What appearances can there be between us? Do you not know that they who accuse themselves? I tell you, replied the devotee, there will not be wanting persons to blame us. And what can I do without you? Demanded Don Modesto, afflicted. Alone in the world, what can you do without me? He who gives food to the little bird, said Rosita in a solemn tone, will take care of those who trust in him. Don Modesto, disconcerted, knowing not what's further to say, went to consult with the cura, who was at the same time his friend and Rosita's. Full Metal Alchemist. What is a cura?
Okay, so I think it's a person that takes care of the spiritual well-being, or helps take care of the spiritual well-being. So it says the cura personalis, at least that's the Latin phrase of it. It's personal care. This person that's responsible for care
Are they
of
like
each
a
man
counselor?
or their needs. I think so. With their unique gifts, challenges, and needs and possibilities. Yeah. It would seem just kind of like a lay person to some extent, but like I guess not necessarily like I guess when I say that term, it's like just someone who may do like readings and whatnot. But I think this may have someone who is a little bit more for spiritual counsel as well. I don't want to say like akin to a chaplain either, but you know that might be somewhere in between those. The other one, Virioloid, I think that's an affliction because it was talking about stuff with the eyes, and so it's a physical thing because it was comparing like the physical thing that was going on with one of her eyes with like the intensity of just like I guess how she was looking at Don Modesto with the other eye.
I see.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this is intense stuff.
I know. It's very dramatic. Everything is a really big deal. What people think, what people say, you know, it's really very much in that vein.
Full Metal Alchemist. The cura persuaded the good girl and her scruples that her scruples were exaggerated and her fears without reason, that the projected separation would much more give rise to ridiculous comments. They continued then to live together, as formerly, in peace, and in the fear of God. The commandant, always good and useful, was always careful, attentive, and disinterested, because, on the one hand, Don Modesto was not the man to take any recompense for his services, and on the other, if the handle of his gala sword had not been silver, she would well have forgotten the color of that metal. Oh,
interesting. Yeah, that is the end of the chapter. You could keep going. I want to know more about that analogy, though. The handle of his gala sword had not been silver. She would have well. I guess. Oh, I see. It's like you know, he's not fake.
Like tarnished.
Yeah, he's not tarnished.
So, yeah. Okay, so the handle.
Yeah.
You know, this gala sword had not been silver. Oh, so she knows him to be pure.
Yeah.
Based on how he maintains things, I guess then. Okay, cool.
So, I guess that's all about Don Modesto, who I guess he may be about to meet, or we've just gotten a little more context about. But back to the story about Stein, the main story here.
It's kind of interesting to have like just a chapter as an aside for a character.
Yeah, I mean, it's just all about what's happening in the town to give us more context. It's definitely that type of novel, you know.
Like instead of just having like a few prepositional phrases, maybe not prepositional phrases, asides, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
Okay. Chapter 6. When Stein returned to the convent, all the family were assembled in the court. Momo and Manuel arrived at the same time, each from his direction. The last had been going his rounds of the farm and exercise of his functions as gamekeeper. He held his gun in one hand and in the other 3 partridges and 2 hares. You can hold on, I guess, if you string them together. Yeah, I can see that. The children ran to Momo, who had once emptied his wallet, from which escaped, as from a horn of abundance, a multitude of winter fruits, which, according to Spanish custom, served to celebrate All Saints' Eve. These? Is that?
I think It's just giving us context. Visualize nuts, chestnuts, and pomegranates.
Nuts, chestnuts, pomegranates.
Yeah.
Pomegranates. Okay, so All Saints Eve. So before Halloween, after Halloween, and fall.
I'm not familiar with it,
Eve.
so
I'm thinking of All Saints Day.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine it's similar to that.
Mm-hmm.
But we continue. If Mari Salada brings us the fish, it's the eldest of the little girls, tomorrow we will have a famous feast. Tomorrow, said Maria, is All Saints. Father Pedro will certainly not go out to fish. Then said the little one, it will be for the next day. They no longer fish on the Dia de los Difuntos. Dia de los
Difuntos.
Dia de los Difuntos. And why? demanded the child. Because it would be to profane a day which the church consecrates to sanctified souls. The proof is that the fishermen, having once cast their lines on such a day, and delighted with the weight they were drawing in, were doomed to find only snakes instead of fish. It is not true, Brother Gabriel. Wait, is it not true, Brother Gabriel? I did not see it, but I am sure of it, replied the brother. And is it for that you make us pray so much on the Day of the Dead? Asked the little girl. For that the same, said the grandma. It is a holy custom, and God is not willing that we should ever neglect it. Certainly, added Manuel. Nothing is more just than to pray to the Lord for the dead, and I remember a fellow of the Congregation of Souls who begged for them in these terms, at the door of the chapel. He who places a small piece of money in this place withdraws a soul from purgatory. There came along a wag who, after having deposited his piece, Tell me, brother, asked he, do you believe the soul is yet clear of purgatory? Do you doubt it? Replied the brother. In that case, replied the other, I take back my piece. I know this soul. She is not such a fool as to go back when she is once out. Oof. Shady. You may be assured, Don Federico, said Maria, that with everything, good or bad, my son finds always something appropriate to a story, a witticism or a bon mot. At this moment, Don Modesto entered by the court. He was as stiff and grave as when he was presented to Stein at the end of the village. The only change was that he carried suspended to his stick a large stock of fish covered over with cabbage leaves. The commandant, was the general cry. Do you come from your citadel, San Cristobal? Asked Manuel of Don Modesto, after exchanging the preliminary compliments and an invitation to be seated on the same stone bench where Stein was seated. You might join my mother, who is so good a Christian, to pray to the saints to build again the walls of the fort, contrary to that which, by report, Joshua did at the walls of Jericho.
Hello, Celine. Sorry, hold on a second.
No, you're good. Celine.
I forgot to ask you at the top of the stream. Did you get my stream together invite?
Oh, so I saw it earlier, and then it said Satila's not on, and so.
Ah, shoot. Yeah, I closed it down, didn't I? Yeah, so we started about an hour ago. Let me send that again because I flubbed on that. You can continue while I send out the invite.
Yeah.
I know you didn't get a stream together invite. You're taking care of IRL stuff.
Yeah,
good to see you, Celine.
Stuff.
I'll shout you out. Anyways, Baljeet, go ahead and continue.
Yeah. Where was I?
Why shout you out?
I have a lot of
Why not? I know you're just here.
I have to ask of the Lord things more important than that, replied the grandma. Certainly, said Brother Gabriel. Maria has more important things than the reconstruction of the walls of a fort to ask of the Lord. It would be better of her to implore him to reconstruct the convent. Don Modesto, on hearing these words, turned with a severe gesture towards the monk, who, at this moment, went and placed himself behind the old mother. and this simulated so well that he disappeared almost entirely to the eyes of the others present. Oh, he's hiding behind Grandma. After what I see, continued the old commandant, Brother Gabriel does not belong to the church militant. Do you not remember that the Jews, before building their temple, had conquered the promised land, sword in hand? Where would have been the churches and priests in the Holy Land if the crosses had not conquered it? Lance in hand. What? Then said Stein, with a laudable intention to divert from this discussion the commandant, whose bile commenced to be stirred. Why does Maria ask for what is impossible? That signifies little, replied Manuel. All old women act the same, except she who asks God to tell her a good number in the drawing of a lottery. Ow. Was it Emperor? They asked. It had been well kept if I had gained the prize. He who could do all things were the miracle. That which is certain, declared Don Modesto, is that I will be very grateful to the Lord if he will inspire the government with the happy idea of re-establishing the fort of San Cristobal. To rebuild, would you say? Observed Manuel. Take care and repent at once, as it happened a woman consecrated to the Lord, and who had a daughter so ugly, so stupid, and so awkward that she could not find even a despairing man to oppose her. The poor woman, much embarrassed, and passed all her days on her knees at prayer, asking a husband for her daughter. At last, one presented himself. The joy of the mother was extreme, but of short duration. The son-in-law was so bad, he so maltreated his wife and his mother-in-law that the latter went to the church and there posted before the saint this inscription: Saint Christopher, with hands and feet whose measure could a giant's meet, and with the head of bony horns, is thou among the saints I saw. Thou, Jewess, as my son-in-law. Wow. Throwing the slander around.
Yes. Lots of prejudice.
Lots of prejudice. Damn. While the conversation was going on, Morongo. That's a fun name.
Morongo Casino and Spa. That's here in California.
California. Morongo, the house cat, awoke from a long sleep, bent his crew like the back of a camel, uttered a sharp meow, opened up his mustaches, and approached little by little towards Don Modesto, just so as to place himself behind the perfumed pocket suspended to the baton. He immediately received on his velvet paws a little stone thrown by Momo, with that singular address with children of his age so well known how to cast. He had skipped off in a gallop, but lost no time in returning to his post of observation and made believe to sleep. Don Modesto saw him and lost his tranquility of mind. You have not said, Senor Commandant, how Marisale is ill. Very ill. She grows weaker every day. I am much afflicted to see her poor father, who has had so much to suffer. This morning his daughter had a high fever. Her cough did not quit her for an instant. What do you say, Senor Commandant? Cried Maria. Don Federico, you who have made such wonderful cures, you who have extracted the stone from Brother Gabriel and restored the sight of Momo, can you not do something for this poor creature? With great pleasure, replied Stein. I will do all in my power to relieve her, and God will repay you. Tomorrow morning we will go and see her. Today you are too much fatigued from your walk. I am not jealous of his kind, said Momo, grumbling. Proudest girl. That is not so, exclaimed the old woman. She is a little wild, a little ferocious. One can see she has been educated alone and allowed to have her own way by a father more gentle than a dove, although a little rough in manner, like all good sailors. But Momo cannot bear Marisarela since one day, when she called him Romo. Flat. As indeed he is. Dang. Full Metal Alchemist.
Is it so bad to have a flat nose?
I mean, I'm just imagining not having a nose past my face, so all that sand gets stuck in my nose. I don't know.
I sent you a new invite, so if you want, there you go. See ya.
Yeah, and then we're doing a shared. There's a shared chat.
Here's a shared chat. Easy shit. I don't know. So, Reen, do you still want to join us? If you want to hop in, you can. Anytime. You are a Renegade reader after all.
Mm-hmm.
Up to ye.
Yeah.
But
Why
feel
can't I
free
hop
to
this chat now?
feel free to just sit and listen. Okay. Where are we? After he said he called him Romo. Okay.
Aroma Lapnos.
Full Metal Alchemist. At this moment, a noise was heard. It was the Commandant pursuing at quick pace the thief Morongo, who had deceived the vigilance of his master and ran off with the stockfish. "My Commandant!" cried out Manuel to him, laughing. "The sardine which the cat carries will not come to the dish except late or never, but I have here a partridge in exchange." Don Modesto seized the partridge, thanked him, took leave of the company, and went away, inveighing against cats. During all this scene, Dolores had given breast to her nursing infant. She tried to hush him to sleep, cradling him in her arms and singing to him. There high on the Calvary, in their fresh retreats, woods of olives, wood of perfume meets. A nightingale, four larks whose breath would warble forth a Saviour's death. For those who suppress the circulation of poetry of the people, as a child crushes with its hand the feeblest butterfly, it would be difficult to say why larks and nightingales warble the death of Christ, why the swallow plucked out the thorns of his crown, why the rosemary is an object of veneration, in the belief that the Virgin dried the swaddling clothes of the infant Jesus on a bush of this plant. Why, or rather how, do they know that the willow is a tree of bad augury, since Judas hung himself on a branch of this tree? Why does no misfortune ever happen in a house if it has been perfumed with rosemary during Christmas Eve? Why in the flower which is called the Passion Flower are found all the instruments of the Passion of the Christ? In truth, there are no answers to these questions. The people do not possess them, nor demand them. These beliefs have accumulated like the vague sounds of distant music, without research into their origin, without analyzing their authenticity. "But Don Federico," said Maria, while Stein was occupied with reflections on the proceedings, "you have not told us how you find our village." "I have seen nothing," replied Stein, "save only the chapel of our Lord of Good Help." They call, I guess for context I should say, Don Federico is what they call Stein.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Fritz Stein is Don Federico. "Miraculous chapel Don Federico hold," pursued the old woman. After some instants of silence, "the only motive why I am not as much pleased here as in the village is that I cannot follow my devotions. Yes, Manuel, thy father, who had not been a soldier, thought like me. My poor husband, he is in heaven. My poor husband was brother of Roser, of the dawn. Roser, who went out after midnight to pray for souls." Is it Roser or Rosere? I don't know. It seems more like a French name to me, the way it's spelled.
Roser.
Roser?
Roser. I don't think it would be Rosara. No, that would definitely be. It's
Rosaire?
not Rosari.
I don't know. Rosaire. I don't know. We're gonna have to look that one up after this. Fatigued with a long day's work, he slept profoundly, and precisely at midnight, a brother rang a bell, came to the door, and chanted, "Here is then the faithful bell, it is not she, the warnings tell, of thy parents 'tis the voice, the cross's foot, then make thy choice. Raise thee, my son, so full of zeal, and prayerful in the chapel kneel, on thy knees in the holy place, for parents supplicate God's grace." When thy father heard this chant, he felt no longer fatigued nor need of sleep. In the twinkling of an eye, he got up and followed the other brother. It seems to me I hear him yet singing in the distance. The Virgin raised a sovereign crown and meekly laid the scepter down. Presenting them to Christ was seen, exclaiming, "I no more am queen, if not held back thy forth from over the human race. then is thy crown divine with two just rigor placed. Jesus answered her, My mother, without thy grace so pure, and thy sweet hallowed prayer, the thunderbolt had hurled the sinner to despair. The children who love so much to imitate what they see as at all great or remarkable undertook to sing in beautiful tone the couplets of the aurora. Hark! How the trumpet's shrill blast clarion sounds, the voice of the angel through heaven resounds. Jerusalem, within thy walls, an infant's foot triumphant falls. What was the people's homage in that hour? What grand equipments decked the kingly bower? The all-powerful whom heaven had sent rode on an ass which men had lent. Don Frederico, said Maria after a moment's silence, in the world which God has made, is it true that there have been men without faith? Stein was mute. Can you not cure the blindness of their intelligence, as you have cured the eyes of Momo? Replied with sadness the good old woman, who remained altogether pensive. What was my question earlier?
I think we can scroll back and look and see.
Let me see here.
This has
Rosaire. I don't know how to spell her, how to pronounce her name.
Alright, let's look it up. Let's see here. Also, I do appreciate how they're doing all these rhymes.
Yeah.
Poems.
I wish they were first translated into Spanish first. I wish they maintained the Spanish.
So let me see. Is this a rosary? Is the variation on rosary? There's also a Saint Rosaire. Let me see, how is this pronounced? Okay. Translate to English, please. Thank you.
Oh, it says it's French, so I'm guessing Rosaire is the correct.
So Rosaire.
But they're talking about the rosary.
So it's rosary.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's track back and see what specifically then.
Unless her name is Rosaire.
Brother.
They're talking about.
It said there was a Saint Rosaire song, but then. I'm surprised they didn't.
My poor husband was brother of Rosaire of the Dawn. Rosaire who went out after midnight to pray for souls. So he was a follower of this saint, I'm sure is what they're talking about.
Rosary of the Dawn. Maybe it's just a. Okay, that makes more sense. Maybe they just pray that at that time. They do rosary in the morning.
Yeah.
Early morning service.
Alright. I'll keep going. Chapter 7. The following day, Maria set off for the house of the invalid, in company with Stein and Momo, foot equerry to his grandmother, who traveled mounted on the philosophic Golondrina. The animal, always good, gentle, and docile, trotted on the road, the head lowered, ears depressed, without making a single rough movement, except when he encountered a thistle in proximity with his nostrils. When they were arrived, Stein... Sorry?
So it's a donkey then?
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
When they were arrived, Stein was astonished to find, in the middle of this arid country, of a nature so dry and sterile, a village so leafy and coquettish. The sea had formed between the two great rocks, a little circular creek, and surrounded by a coast of the finest sand, which appeared like a plateau of crystal placed on a table of gold. Several rocks showed themselves timidly, as if they wished to repose themselves and be seated on the tranquil shore. At one of them was made fast a fisherman's bark, balancing herself at will of the waves. She seemed as impatient as a horse reined in. On one side of the rocks was elevated the fort of San Cristobal, crowned by the peaks of wild figs, like the head of an old druid adorned with green oak leaves. The fisherman had constructed his cabin with the wrecked remains of his vessel, which the sea had thrown on the coast. He had based all against the rocks, which formed in some sort 3 stories of the habitation. The roof was horizontal and covered with aquatica, the first layer of which, rotted by the rains, had given growth to a great quantity of herbs and of flowers, so that in the autumn, when the dryness disappeared with the heat of summer, the cabin appeared covered with a delicious garden. When the persons just arrived entered the cabin, they found the fisherman sad and cast down, seated near the fire. opposite his daughter, who, her hair in disorder, falling down on both sides of her pale face, bent up and shivering, her emaciated limbs enveloped in a rag of brown flannel. She seemed to be not more than 13 years of age. The invalid turned, with an expression of but little kindliness, her large, black, and sullen eyes upon the persons who entered, and instantly sank down anew in the corner of the chimney. Full metal alchemist.
Poor kid. Old metal alchemist. Pedro, said Maria. You forget your friends, but they do not forget you. Will you tell me why the good God has given you a mouth? Could you not have let me know of the illness of the little girl? If you had let me know of it sooner, I had sooner come with this gentleman, who is such a doctor as he is seldom seen, and who in no time will cure your daughter. Pedro Santalo rose. Is that brusquely?
Brusquely.
Brusquely. Pedro Santalo rose brusquely and advanced to Stein. He would speak to him, but he was so overcome with emotion that he could not articulate a single word, and he covered his face with his hands. He was a man already advanced in life, and his aspect sufficiently rude, and his form colossal. Countenance, hey, there we go.
Countenance.
6 times. Bronzed by the sun and was crowned by a gray head of hair, thick and uncombed, his breast red as that of an Ohio Indian. It was also covered with hair. Interesting. Come, Pedro, said Maria, from whose eyes the tears began to flow at the sight of the poor father's despair. A man like you, big as a church, a man they believe ready to devour infants uncooked, to be discouraged thus without reason. I know that's tough. That's tough. Come. I see here nothing but what appears solid. Good Mother Maria, replied the fisherman in a feeble voice, I count, with this one, 5 children in their tombs. God, and why does lose courage? Remember the saint whose name you bear, and who threw himself into the sea when he had lost the faith which sustained him. I tell you that with the grace of God, Don Federico will cure the child in a little time, in as little time as you could call on Jesus. Pedro sadly shook his head. How obstinate are these Catalans, said Maria, with a little anger, and passing before the fisherman, she approached the invalid. Come, Marisaleda, come. Rise up, daughter, that these gentlemen may examine you. Marisaleda did not stir. Come, my daughter, repeated the good woman. You will see that he will cure you as by enchantment. And these words she took the girl by the arm and wished to raise her up. I have no desire, said the invalid, rudely disengaging herself from the hand which held her. The daughter is as sweet as the father. He who inherits steals not, murmured Momo, who appeared at the door. It is her illness that renders her impatient, added the father to exculpate his child. Marisaleda had an access of coughing. The fisherman wrung his hands with grief. Fresh cold, said Maria. Come, come. It is not a very extraordinary thing, but then he will consent to what this child does. The cold she takes running, with naked feet and legs on the rocks and on the ice. She would do it, replied Pedro. And why not give her healthy food? Good soups, soup, milk, eggs. But no, she only eats fish. She does not wish them, replied the father with dejection. She dies from negligence, suggested Momo, who, with arms crossed, was posted against the doorpost. Will you put your tongue in your pocket? Said Grandma to him. She turned towards Stein. Don Federico, try and examine our invalid, as she will not move, for she will let herself die, rather than make a movement. Stein commenced by asking of the father some details of the illness of his daughter. He then approached the young girl, who was drowsy. He remarked that the lungs were too compressed in their right cavity and were irritated by the oppression. The case was grave. The invalid was feeble from want of proper food. The cough was hard and dry. The fever constant. The consumption, indeed, would not allow it to pause. Has she always had a taste for singing? Demanded the old woman during the examination. She would sing crucified like the bald mice. Bald mice? said Momo, turning away his head, that the wind would carry his hard speech, and that his grandma could not hear him. The first thing to do, said Stein, is to forbid this girl to expose herself to the rigors of the season. Do you hear, my child? The father said with anxiety. She must, continued Stein, wear shoes and dress warm. If she will not, cried the fisherman, rising suddenly and opening a box of cedar, from whence he took numerous objects of the toilet. Nothing is wanting. All that I have and all that I can amass are hers. Maria, my daughter, you will put on this clothing. Do this for the love of heaven. Marikita?
Yeah.
Marikita, you see, it is what the doctor's orders. Marie Soledad, who was aroused by the noise made by her father, cast an irritated look on Stein and said to him in a sharp voice, Who governs me? And say that they do not give this government to me by means of a good branch of wild olive, murmured Momo. She must have, continued Stein, good nourishment and substantial soups. So, you have a soup counter now, too. I like how he's like just still going on like he's just like going off a chart, like unswayed.
Yeah.
Maria made an expressive gesture of approbation at the same time. She should be nourished with milk diet and chickens and fresh eggs. Did I not tell you so? Interrupted the old woman, exchanging a look with Pedro. Don Federico is the best doctor in the world. I feel like I'm changing the wording there a little bit. We're good. Take care that she does not sing. Remarked Stein. Am I never to listen to her again? Cried poor Pedro with grief. See then, what a misfortune, replied Maria. Let her be cured and then she can sing night and day like the ticking of a watch. But I think it will be best to have her taken to me, for there is none to nurse her for anyone who knows like me how to make good soup for her. I can prove that, said Stein, smiling, and I assure you one might set before a king a soup prepared by a good nurse. Maria never felt more happy. Thus, Pedro, it is useless talking of it. I will take her home. Reign without her. No, it is impossible. Pedro, it is not thus we should love our children, replied Maria. To love them is to do above all that which will benefit them. So let it be, replied the fisherman, rising with resolution. I place her in your hands. I confide her to this doctor's care and commend her to the divine goodness. With difficulty could he pronounce these last words, which flowed rapidly as he feared to recall his determination, and he went to harness his ass. Full Metal Alchemist.
Powerfully harness that ass.
Dead ass.
Full Metal Alchemist. Don Federico asked Maria, when they were alone with the invalid, who remained drowsy. Is it not true that, with God's help, we will cure her? I hope so, replied Stein. I cannot tell you how much this poor father interests me. Maria made a package of linen, which the fisherman had taken out of the box. And Pedro came back leading the ass by the bridle. They placed the invalid on the saddle. The young girl, enfeebled by the fever, opposed no resistance. Before Maria had mounted Golondrina, who appeared quite content to return in company with Urca, the name given to a great sea fish, which was that of Pedro's ass. The fisherman took Maria aside and said to her, in trying to slip some pieces of gold in her hand, "This is all I could save from my shipwreck. Take it and give it to the doctor, for all I have for him is for him who can give me back my daughter." "Keep your gold," replied Maria, "and know, in the first place, it is God who has conducted the doctor hither. In the second place, it is I." Maria pronounced these last words with a light tinge of vanity. They commenced their journey. "Do not stop, Grandma," said Momo, who walked behind. "However large may be the convent, it must be filled with people, eh? What? The cabin was not good enough for the Princess Gaviota?" "Momo," replied the grandma, "mind your own affairs." "But what do you see in her? And what touches you in this wild Gaviota? to take her thus under your care. Momo, a proverb says, who is thy sister? Thy nearest neighbor. Another adds, wipe the nose of thy neighbor's child and take her to thee. And here is the moral. Treat thy neighbor as thyself. There is yet another proverb, added Momo, which says, he is mad who occupies himself about others. But it is of no use. You are obstinate about raising the palm to San Juan de Dios. You will not be the angel to aid me, said Maria with sadness. Dolores received the invalid with open arms, as approving the resolution of her mother-in-law. Pedro Santalo, who had accompanied his daughter, called the charitable nurse before he returned, and putting the pieces of gold in her hand, said, this is to defray the expenses, and that she may want for nothing. As to your care, God will recompense you. The good old woman hesitated an instant, took the gold, and said, it is well, she shall want for nothing. Depart without uneasiness, Pedro. Your daughter is in good hands. The poor father went away hurriedly, and did not stop till he reached the coast. Then he returned to the side of the convent, and wept with bitterness. Maria said to Momo, bestir yourself, go to the village, and bring me a ham from Serranos, who will please send me a good one, when he knows it is for a poor, sick girl. Bring me at the same time a pound of sugar and a quart of almonds. Just so. Always sent about. Throw away everything you possessed, cried Moto. Cried Momo. Think you they will give me all this on credit, and for my handsome face? Here is to pay for them, replied the grandma, and she placed in his hand a piece of gold of 4 duros, about $4. Gold, cried Momo, stupefied. For the first time in his life he saw this metal in the form of money. From what demons have you snatched this? What is it to you, replied Maria. Don't worry yourself. It needs no more than this, replied Momo, that I serve as domestic to this magpie. Is a cursed Gaviota. I will not go. Go, boy, at once, and nimbly too. Well, no, I will not go. I will not annoy myself, repeated Momo. Jose, said Maria, on seeing the shepherd go out. You go to the village. Soup! Honestly, gag that Maria and Momo are still a part of this. I guess they were main characters. What's up, Soup?
So what do you mean 12 countenances?
12 countenances? I don't remember the 12. I remember counting 5 last time. But maybe I'm just wrong. I would have to look at the VOD again.
Bed. But here, yes.
Thought it was 6. No, we were at 5, and then we had 6, and now we're at 6. That's it, we're at 6. That's our total. Right?
Yeah. 6.
Yeah. 6.
Oh yeah, so 6, yeah, 6 total. So I reset the number. I put it as we discussed it on stream. So I put it as 5 at the start, and then we just have done 1.
Anyways, I hope you're doing well, Soup. Soup, I play tennis early in the morning tomorrow. I'll be thinking of you. I'll try to win a game for you.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see here. I will let you know how it goes. Jose, said Maria, on seeing the shepherd go out. You go to the village? Yes, senora. What orders do you have for me? The good woman gave him the commission and added, this Momo has a bad heart and will not go, and I have not the strength to complain to his father, who would make him march quickly and caress him in a manner to break his bones. Yes, yes. Do everything to take care of this crow, who will tear out your eyes, said Momo. You will receive payment in the trouble she will give you. If it is not so now, it will be in time. Damn. Damn.
Ooh.
Kid is vicious.
I feel like, from my understanding, what I've been told, I feel like, would Momo have received the chocolate by now, Soup? Is that the thing?
Oh my god, yes. I guess his father just really babies him. Maybe it's because he's the only.
Let me caress the only to break his bones.
Son.
That sounds like a what is it? from of Mice and Men, like you just like try to pet the mice, it just squeezed it.
Oh.
I just imagine the same thing as when he says,
Yeah.
"That's him in a manner."
I know what you're talking about. I never read the whole thing, but I know what you're talking about.
Wait, that's another one we should read then.
I know. We talked about it before on stream a long time ago.
Ah.
Yeah. I wonder if Steinbeck is in the public domain though.
That's fair.
Yeah. I need to refill my water.
Good call.
Let's take a BRB, or do you wanna call it soon?
I think I'm good for like. I thought I was gonna be sleepier than this, but I mean, it's also like it's a very easy read.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like in this. If this was like the Odyssey, I would say we should probably stop, but I can go for probably one more chapter.
Okay, I'm gonna do a quick BRB to refill my water, and then we'll switch it off from there. So, be right back.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Alrighty, so if we finish this chapter, then we'd be averaging about 4 chapters a stream so far.
Mm-hmm.
So
that sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
Over the course of like an hour-ish time frame, really less than that because like we've been chatting.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, that works out fine. And that's probably good for Fridays if I really think about it, because I become with any range of tiredness as the year goes on.
Yeah. You're. I hope you get used to it, but can't be easy taking taking care of a whole classroom of children and then taking care of your own children and then having to rest yourself. You know, it's like.
Yeah.
That's a lot. You're a multi-talented man.
I told a kid this week, he said he was like playing games or something in class. I was like, instead of doing what he was supposed to. And I said, like, well, what do you want to do in the future? He's like, I don't want to think about the future. The future's bleak. And I was like, I'm not going to fault you on that. But you know who has a say so on that? What the difference is? You do. And then I like list all the stuff that I do. Is like, I've got 2 albums out. I stream. I teach.
Yeah.
I'm working on a game. I've got 2 kids and I'm married. And I was like, that's not to say there's plenty of hard work to go with it. But the other thing is there's sleep deprivation involved a little bit. Yeah. So take that as you will.
You gotta live for the moment, you know?
You do.
Work with what you got in the moment. Live for today.
Yeah. I was like, you could do this. Yeah. Okay. We're ready.
Yes. Full Metal Alchemist, over to you.
Full Metal Alchemist. Chapter 8. A month after the scenes that we've described. Wow, we're time skipping in there. A month after the scenes we have described, Marie Salada was more sensible and did not show the least desire to return to her father's. Stein was completely reestablished. His good-natured character, his modest inclinations, his natural sympathies attached him every day more to the peaceful habits of the simple and generous persons among whom he dwelt. He felt relieved from his former discouragements, and his mind was invigorated. He was cordially resigned to his present existence and to the men with whom he associated. One afternoon, Stein, leaning against an angle of the convent, which faced the sea, admired the grand spectacle which the opening of the winter season presented to his view. Above his head floated a triple bed of somber clouds, forced along by the impetuous wind. Those lower down, black and heavy, seemed like the cupola of an ancient cathedral in ruins, threatening at each instant to sink down. When reduced to water, they fell to the ground. There was the second bed, less somber and lighter, defying the wind which chased them, and separating at intervals sought other clouds, more coquettish. I looked up that word earlier too. It was like they're describing these things as sexual? Is that what it is?
I don't know. It's an archaic form of the word, that's for sure.
Okay, if it's just like, I guess that makes sense. Coquettish and more
alluring, enticing.
Yes, I see.
Yeah.
Which is they hurried into space, and as if they feared to soil their white robes by coming into contact with their companions. Okay. Are you a sponge, Don Federico? So to like to receive all the water which falls from heaven? Demanded Jose, the shepherd of Stein. Let us enter the roofs. Let us enter. The roofs are made expressly for such nights as these. My sheep would give me the shelter, much to shelter themselves under some tiles. Oh, so he's sweating. Stein and the shepherd entered and found the family assembled around the hearth. At the left of the chimney, Dolores, seated on a low chair, held her infant who, turning his back to his mother, supported himself on the arm which encircled him. Like the balustrade of a balcony, he moved about incessantly with his little legs in his small, bare arms, laughing and uttering joyous cries addressed to his brother Anis. This brother, gravely seated opposite the fire on the edge of an empty earthen pan, remained stiff and motionless, fearing that, losing his equilibrium, he would be tossed into the said earthen pan, an accident which his mother had predicted. Maria was sewing at the right side of the chimney. Her granddaughters had for seats dry aloe leaves. Had for seats dry aloe leaves, excellent seats, light, solid, and sure. Nearly under the drapery of the chimney piece slept the hairy Palomo and a cat, the grave Longo, tolerated from necessity, but remaining by common consent at a respectful distance from each other. So I guess the cat is there to help catch things then? Gotcha. In the middle of this group, there was a little low table on which burned a lamp of 4 jets. Close to the table, the brother Gabriel was seated, making baskets of the palm tree. Momo was engaged in repairing the harness of the good Swallow, the ass, and Manuel cutting up tobacco. On the fire was conspicuous a stew pan full of Malaga potatoes, white wine, honey, cinnamon, and cloves. The humble family waited with impatience till the perfumed stew should be sufficiently cooked. That's another word for soup. Anyway, come on, cried Maria, when she saw her guests and the shepherd enter. What are you doing outside in the weather like this? 'Tis a hurricane has come to destroy the world. Don Federico, here, come near the fire. Do you know that the invalid has supped like a princess, and that present she sleeps like a queen? Her cure progresses well. Is it not so, Don Federico? Her recovery surpasses my hopes. My soups. I'm sorry.
You remind me of my buddy Wishengrad, who, whenever garlic bread is mentioned, they cannot help but laugh.
Garlic bread.
I don't know why garlic bread is something that makes Makes him laugh.
Which Secret also teaches, doesn't he?
Yes, yes.
I imagine just someone in the classroom saying garlic bread and him just like cracking up.
Yeah.
My soups, added Maria with pride. And the ass's milk. Ew. I'm sorry, said Brother Gabriel quietly. There is no doubt, replied Stein, and she ought to continue to take it. I oppose it not, said Maria, because ass's milk is like the turnip. If it does no good, it does no harm. Ah, how pleasant it is here, said Stein, caressing the children. If one could only live in the enjoyment of the present without thought of the future. Yes, yes, Don Federico, quickly cried Manuel. Media vida es la candela, pan y vino la otra media. Half of life is the candle, bread and wine are the other half. This is true. And what necessity have you to dream of the future? Asked Maria. Will tomorrow make us the more love today? Let us occupy ourselves with today, so as not to render painful the day to come. Man is a traveler, replied San. He must follow his route. Route? He must follow his route. Certainly, replied Maria. Man is a traveler, but if he arrives in the quarter where he finds himself well off, he would say, "We are well here. Put up our tents." If you wish us to lose our evening by talking of traveling, said Dolores, we will believe that we have offended you, or that you are not pleased here. Who speaks of traveling in the middle of December? Demanded Manuel. Goodness of heaven! Do you not see what disasters there are every day on the sea? During the singing of the wind, will you embark in this weather as you were embarked in the war of Navarre? For as then, you would come out mortified and ruined. Besides, added Maria, the invalid is not yet entirely cured. There, said Dolores, besieged by the children. If you will not call off these creatures, the potatoes will not be cooked until the last judgment. The grandmother rolled the spinning wheel to the corner and called the little infants to her. We will not go, they replied with one voice, if you will not tell us a story. Come, I will tell you one, said the good old woman. The children approached. Anise took up his position on the empty earthen pot, and the grandma commenced the story to amuse the little children. She had hardly finished the relation of the story when a great noise was heard. The dog rose up, pointed his ears, and put himself on the defensive. The cat bristled her hair and prepared to fly, but the succeeding laugh very soon was frightful. It was Anise who fell asleep during the recital of his grandmother. It happened that the prophecy of his mother was fulfilled as to his falling into the earthen pan, where all his little person disappeared, except his legs, which stuck out like glands of a new species. His mother.
You like that one?
Just imagine like the little footy tooties. You know, what is they say? Floyd and Soup say it's like the zapatitos or something like that, instead of just like saying little toes. His mother rendered impatient. Seized with one hand the collar of his vest, raised him out of the steps, and despite his resistance, held him suspended in the air for some time. In the style represented in those card dainty, which move arms and legs when you pull the thread which holds them. As his mother scolded him and everybody laughed at him, Anise, who had a brave spirit, a thing natural in an infant, burst out into a groan which had nothing of timidity in it. Full Metal Alchemist.
Full Metal Alchemist. Don't weep, Anise, said Paca, and I will give you 2 chestnuts that I have in my pocket. True? Demanded Anise. Paca took out the 2 chestnuts and gave them to him. Instead of tears, they saw promptly shine with joy the 2 rows of white teeth of the young boy. Brother Gabriel, said Maria, did you not speak to me of a pain in your eyes? Why do you work this evening? I said truly, answered Brother Gabriel. But Don Federico gave me a remedy which cured me. Don Federico must know many remedies, but he does not know one which never misses its effect, said the shepherd. If you know it, have the extreme kindness to inform me of it, replied Stein. I am unable to tell you, replied the shepherd. I know that it exists, and that is all. Who knows it then? Demanded Stein. The swallows, said Jose. The swallows? Yes, sir. It is an herb which is called pito real, which nobody sees or knows except the swallows. When their little ones lose their sight, they rub their eyes with the pito real and cure them. This herb has also the virtue to cut iron, everything it touches. What absurdities this Jose swallows without chewing, like a real shark, interrupted Manuel, laughing. Don Federico, do you comprehend what he said and believes as an article of faith? He believes and says that snakes never die. No, they never die, replied the shepherd. When they see death coming, they escape from their skin and run away. With age, they become serpents. Little by little, they are covered with scales and wings. They become dragons and return to the desert. But you, Manuel, you do not wish to believe anything. Do you deny that also the lizard is the enemy of the women and friend of man? If you do not believe it, ask then of Miguel. He knows it, without doubt, by experience. Whence did he learn it? Demanded Stein. He was sleeping in the field, replied Jose. A snake glided near him. A lizard, which was in the furrow, saw it coming, and presented himself to defend Miguel. The lizard, which was of large form, fought with the snake, but Miguel, not awaking, the lizard pressed his tail against the nose of the sleeper, and ran off as if his paws were on fire. The lizard is a good little beast, who had good desires. He never sleeps in the sun without descending the wall to kiss the earth. When the conversation commenced on the subject of the swallows, Paca said to Anis, who was seated among his sisters, with his legs crossed like a Grand Turk in miniature, Anis, you know what the swallows say? I? No. They have never spoken to me. Attend then. They say... The little girl imitated the chirping of swallows and began to sing with volubility. To eat and to drink, and to loan when you may. But 'tis madness to think this loan to repay. Flee, flee, pretty swallow, the season demands. Fly swift on the wing and reach other lands. Is it for that they are sold? For that, affirmed his sister. During this time, Dolores carried her infant in one hand, with the other spread on the table. During this time, Dolores carried her infant in one hand, with the other spread the table, served the potatoes, and distributed to each one his part. The children ate from her plate, and Stein remarked that she did not even touch the dish she had prepared with so much care. You did not eat, Dolores, he said to her. Do you not know the saying? She replied, laughing. He who has children at his side will never die of indigestion. Don Federico? What they eat nourishes me. Momo, who found himself beside this group, drew away his plate, so that his brothers would have not the temptation to ask him for its contents. His father, who remarked it, said to him, Don't be avaricious. It is a shameful vice. Be not avaricious. Avarice is an abject vice. Know that one day an avaricious man fell into the river. A peasant who saw it ran to pull him out. He stretched out his arm and cried to him, Give me your hand! What had he to give? A miser. Give. Before giving him anything, he allowed himself to be swept down by the current. By chance, he floated near to the fisherman. Take my hand, he said to him. As it was a question of taking, our man was willing, and he escaped danger. It is not such wit you should relate to your son Manuel, said Maria. You ought to set before him, for example, the bad rich man, who would give to the unfortunate neither a morsel of bread nor a glass of water. God grant, answered the beggar to him, that all that you touch changes to the silver which you hold. Sorry, my God. Order these words. God grant, answered the beggar to him, that all that you touch changes to the silver which you so hold to. The wish of the beggar was realized. All that the miser had in his house was changed into metals as hard as his heart. Tormented by hunger and thirst, he went into the country, and having perceived a fountain of pure water, clear as crystal, he approached with longing to taste it. But the moment his lips touched it, the water turned to silver. He would take an orange, and the orange was changed to gold. He thus died in a frenzy of rage and fury, cursing what he had desired. Manuel, the strongest-minded man in the assembly, bowed down his head. Manuel, his mother said to him, you imagine that we ought not to believe but what is a fundamental article, and that credulity is common only to the imbecile. You are mistaken. Men of good sense are credulous. But my mother, between belief and doubt there is a medium. And why, replied the good old woman, laugh at faith, which is the first of all the virtues. How will it appear to you if I say to you, I have given birth to you, I have educated you, I have guided your earliest steps, I have fulfilled my obligations. Is the love of a mother nothing but an obligation? What say you? I would reply that you are not a good mother. Well, my son, apply that to what we were speaking of. He who does not believe except from obligation, and only for that, cannot cease to believe without being a renegade. Renegades!
Renegades mentioned.
A bad Christian, as I would be a bad mother if I loved you only from obligation. Brother Gabriel, interrupted Dolores, why will you not taste my potatoes? It is a fast day, replied Brother Gabriel. Nonsense. There is no longer convent nor rules nor fasts, cavalierly said Manuel, to induce the poor old man to participate in the general repast. Besides, you have accomplished 60 years. Put away those scruples. You will not be damned for having eaten our potatoes. Pardon me, replied Brother Gabriel, but I ought to fast as formerly, inasmuch as the Father Prior has not given me a dispensation. Well done, Brother Gabriel, added Maria. Manuel shall not be the demon tempter with his rebellious spirit to incite you gourmandize. Upon this, the good old woman rose up and locked up in a closet the plate which Dolores had served to the monk. I will keep it here for you until tomorrow morning, Brother Gabriel. Supper finished. The men, whose habit was always to keep their hats on in the house, uncovered, and Maria said grace. Alright.
Alright. We're good.
How are we feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. I feel like if we read too far on, it's kind of like, I don't want to say we'll throw things off balance, but just...
We'll have trouble recounting all that happened.
Yeah, we will. And I just... That's a good read. Like, I enjoy... Like, I really want to hear how... Like, I enjoy joining the voices, but it's like, now that's a little bit more easy to pick up, like, how, like, the tone is compared to the Odyssey. I really want to hear how, like, Celine and Soup read it, and how we just all with it, you know? I do like this book. I do want to read.
Definitely have our distinctive voice with this book, for sure. It
definitely makes me want to check out the other one that you had suggested as well. That was that.
The one by the Belgian author. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that would be interesting to take a look at too. I think, parts of it I'm sure will come across differently, but if it's still the same time period, some of the themes I'm imagining would be the same, but just like with the cultural aspects tossed in there.
Yeah, so, I like the slice of life aspects for sure. It's just really hard to find writing that has been translated into English that is in the public domain. So I wonder, like, maybe if later on I purchase a translation and ask permission, right, from the author or the publisher to do it on stream. I wonder if that's possible in the future, for a translation that's newer published. T Energy, you're just getting here and we're finishing. I hope you're doing good though. Yeah, baby, yeah. Are you finishing your stream?
Me? Yeah.
Okay.
Lego break sound?
I don't know what the sound of a Lego breaking is, but It can't be good.
I don't sound like me stepping on a Lego is, and it's me screaming. So is that what you mean? Because I had not at this hour, maybe a few hours ago, but not at this hour.
Yeah. Do the toys get spread around in your house?
No, they're pretty much in one area. Well, two areas. Like we have the kids' playroom, and the kids have their own room. And so it's only like really stuffed animals.
Yeah.
That get moved around here and there.
Yeah. My niece.
Not too bad.
The living room was pretty much hers. And there's a lot of toys everywhere until we all put them away with her. And she'll ask you to read the same book over and over and over to her again and again. It's very cute.
Yeah.
Sure, you know what I'm talking about.
I do. Like, I don't. What do you mean, well, bye? We're not. We're still here right now. Yeah, if it was certain books, I guess it's okay. I don't mind if it's like little kid books where it's like
yeah, no, they're little board books, like little kid board books and stuff. Yeah,
those ones are good. Where it's like the same structure as stories. Like there's like a whole bunch of series of these, not little bitty books, but it's just enough where it's like too long of a book to be like a nice to like have memorized. And it's more frustrating to have those read over and over. Like I'll love you to the cows come home. Solid. It's cool. I gotta have that memorized. That one's like it's like nice pictures. It's not the same storyline as like other kinds of books. It's cool. I don't want to read about Mickey and Donald going camping again. I'm done.
Yeah. So how is your first kid dealing with the fact that she's got a little sister?
It's going fairly well. I think that she's just trying to figure out, still trying to figure out how to interact with her, like little bits. I think it's easier now that she can like, kind of be closer to her, not us having to worry about like as much as her like messing with her head or her belly button. She's still trying to like vie for some attention, which is completely understandable because it was pretty much all hers previously. But it's gone to the point now where they can kind of lay down next to each other in the playroom. And it's the cutest thing now. Our youngest one will like try to talk with her. Aww. And so we'll try to encourage.
That's adorable.
Yeah, to make sure she's talking back, is like sometimes she'll talk with us, but it's not that much.
Yeah.
From time to time. Like she speaks and squawks, but like she does not look like she's like engaged the same way. I'm just like, this is fantastic. Like, this is the kind of stuff we want for them to be able to like, want to spend time with each other.
Right. That's so cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, my little niece is in for rude awakening, but she's really good at playing on her own. Like she's very independent with her playing, so I think she'll be okay. But she's very, very attached to my sister. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out with the attention. Because usually it's like mom or no one. And when we're around, it's like, she recognizes that we're there, but it's mostly like she's bringing stuff to mom if she's there, We have to really battle for her attention at this stage. So hopefully she goes to other people for attention and starts getting attached to the other people that are in her life. But still very young.
She's getting there.
Yeah.
Slowly but surely. It'll come with time, I'm sure.
All right. So do we have a raid target? I was looking at Con.
Was Con on?
Con is on.
If Con is on, then let's bring it on.
All right. I'm gonna raid the Zarkon then.
Yeah, raiding Con. Okay, I'm gonna hop off the... Can I hop off the share chat? Oh wait, I think it works now. If I close out of it, it doesn't end share chat. So that's nice.
Well, thank you for joining me on this lovely night of reading Renegades. It was really nice to introduce this story to you. I hope you get caught up on the first 4 chapters. You didn't miss that much, but I think if you really enjoyed, the tapestry that these past 4 chapters weaves, I think you'll get a kick out of what we read so far.
I think so. I think I definitely will, and I'll be able to make a little bit more connections as to who Stein really is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I don't really know who he is either. I mean, it's pretty much just as I said. He's a German soldier who emigrated from the War of Navarre, and he was discharged. And he's trying to establish a doctoral practice.
Mm-hmm.
Finds himself in a strange land.
Strangely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely trying to make sure I get caught up on that before next Friday, if we are reading next Friday.
Yeah, I hope so. All right, everybody. 10 seconds till the raid. See ya.
Oh, I gotta do my stuff. Oh, shoot. I'll see you guys over there then. Bye.
Okay, bye.